Influencers. Can't live with them. Can't live without. No, I think we could live without them. But hey, that doesn't mean I don't love some of them. To me, influencer is just another word for celebrity because they're an internet celebrity, they're considered an influencer. But really, what's the difference? If an actor endorses a brand, they're still an actor or a celebrity, I guess. But a YouTuber endorses a brand and now they're an influencer. Aren't they doing the same thing? Who knows? What I do know is that influencers tend to catfish. I mean, in my world, it seems everyone does, but I'll save that for another time. Today on InformOverload, I'll be counting down the top 5 tricks influencers use to catfish you. Not just me, you. I don't fall for the tricks anymore because I know them all. Make sure you guys smash that like button and I'll be sure to tell you guys all the tricks that I use to catfish on a daily basis. For now, let's get into it. Kicking us off at number 5, we got editing photos. This is probably the most obvious one on this list. How many influencers have been caught either photoshopping their waist, their tush, their abs, their face? I mean, the list goes on, but it seems some are even better or creative than others. The classic ones are of course editing a pimple out of a photo, maybe touching up the bags under their eyes. I do it all the time. Just kidding. Used to. However, some go as far as changing the sky in the background of the photo because apparently that matters to some people. And I'm not even shaming influencers, I get that it's a business and I'll always respect someone on their hustle, but at some point we gotta draw the line. Personally, I too think these standards for beauty, if you will, are a little ridiculous, and the fact that people feel they have to look this way or that way, especially when the people you look up to don't even look like that, well, it just makes everything seem to be very counterintuitive. Going back to the example of the influencer who changed the sky, Tupi Saravia, an influencer from Buenos Aires, Argentina, well, she actually went viral after she was exposed, for lack of a better word, for adding clouds to the background of her photos. It seems the first person to catch on was Twitter user Matt Navera, who is a social media commentator. Whatever that means. He tweeted out 4 of Savaria's photos and captioned his tweet, "This travel influencer spookily has the same clouds in every photo." However, it seems this isn't something that Tupi was trying to keep secret, and when she started going viral and getting a ton of media coverage, she really couldn't believe how blown out of proportion things got. She explained, I quote, "I can't believe how far this went. Actually, I'm the first one to tell the joke about the clouds that are following me around the world." She went on to explain that she only uses the app QuickShot when the sky in her photo is, as she put it, burned or overexposed. That's it. I've always been open to my followers about this kind of app. Now, as I said before, people editing their photos really isn't anything new. I mean, every tabloid you see on the shelf of your local grocery store is heavily photoshopped. It's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is. And it seems Tupi wasn't shying away from her usage of the app, as she even posted a caption to one of her Instagram photos explaining, "There is a highlighted story on my feed where you can see how I edit my followers' pics changing the sky. If you need some, I could do a giveaway." However, not everyone thought this was a good move. Stephanie Van Hoyen, another travel influencer, explained, "Why would you go out and travel to see the world to subsequently edit what you see and recreate a false reality for fellow travelers? Traveling is all about seeing the world, the real world. I just don't appreciate the culture of fakeness. I wonder why the world isn't enough to show. Traveling is not all about glamour and beauty, cocktails at infinity pools, and coconut sunsets. Very often it's quite the opposite, and that's okay. To add entire new skies and or even landscapes, that's alright as long as you list it under hashtag fantasy and not hashtag travel. Don't send people to fake places." Now it's funny she actually says that because there is actually a location in Bali where influencers are always seen posing for photos. It's a popular tourist spot known as the Gates of Heaven, and it seems like there is a body of water giving a reflection right below where people usually stand. However, it turns out this is legitimately a photo op, as a man just sits on a stool and uses a mirror to create the illusion of a large body of water. Tourists line up for hours just to get their photo taken, and considering how you're only allowed to do 5 poses on the site, people could be seen in line practicing their poses. This usually includes the classic jump, the yogi pose, and sometimes even a proposal. Although I don't think people are really practicing that last one, unless they're really trying to get a good photo for the gram and stage a proposal just for likes and comments. Hey, speaking of staging a proposal for engagement, let's get on to number 4. At number 4, we got fake relationships or feuds. Influencers are usually entertainers as well, whether they be a TikTok star, a YouTuber, an Instagrammer. Whatever it is they do, odds are they're also in the business of entertainment. And as we know, the more someone talks about you or your brand, the more your value goes up. That's why Jake Paul is continuing to act the way he does. You may hate him, but he knows as he continues doing the stupid things he continues to do, we're all going to talk about how much of an idiot he is. At the end of the day, we're still talking about him, and that's all he cares about. And speaking of Jake Paul, he's actually been in both a fake relationship and a fake feud. What are the odds? I mean, everyone remembers when Tana and Jake got married and someone ran up to Tana and threw something on her as they were saying their vows. You guys probably saw the two also leave their own wedding separately, and Jake being seen with other girls, including exotic dancers, if you will. So people were kind of like, Wait, so they just got married and left their wedding separately and Jake is already being unfaithful? Seems about right. However, it's not just fake relationships that get people talking, but fake feuds as well. And Jake has also been in his fair share of fake feuds. I think. Or maybe they were real. I'll be honest, I really don't even know anymore, guys. I can't keep up with this kid. Jake and Logan Paul once were feuding and made songs about each other, and Logan even featured Jake's ex-girlfriend in one of his music videos. But I mean, do we really think that would actually happen if they weren't all in on it? There was also the time FaZe Banks and Jake had a situation where FaZe was accused of assaulting one of Jake's friends or assistants, and they were going back and forth threatening legal action. Then they made up, but the Hollywood Fix caught them both on the streets of LA thinking that something was gonna go down. Turns out the two guys planned to fake a fight of sorts just to prank the Hollywood Fix, and they all got a good laugh out of it. But was the whole club assault thing real or not? Did they settle in court? With these YouTubers, you'll never really know. At number 3, photo ops. As I previously mentioned, people went to a location in Bali to take photos at a tourist attraction that wasn't what it was thought to be. Although it's still a nice tourist attraction, that body of water that gives an amazing reflection is actually non-existent. And it seems influencers have been called out in the past for their bull, especially during a lot of the BLM protests. Off the top of my head, I can think of 2 who got caught doing this, Madison Beer and Chris Schatzel, one being a singer and the other just being an influencer. Now, Beer actually denied that she staged anything, and literally said she refuses for it to be spun into something it's not. Maybe she did, maybe she didn't, who knows. I'm gonna take her word for it. She wasn't there just for photos. So she says, and I'll leave it at that. What I do know is that Schatzel fully went to a BLM protest for the sake of getting content for her Instagram page. Although a ton of influencers posted photos of them at a protest, I guess to show the world they're an ally maybe? Schatzel here legitimately just went to the protest to have a photo shoot and make it appear she's there for reasons she's not. The popular Instagram page Influencers in the Wild posted a video of Schatzel walking up to a photographer over and over again, grabbing her hair while holding a Black Lives Matter sign. It was quite evident she was just there for a Photoshop, and later admitted to it after she was called out by hundreds of people on social media. This led to her deleting her Twitter account altogether and making her Instagram page private. She would later take to her Instagram to explain, I quote, "This is a huge misunderstanding. Later I will explain everything and apologize. My intention was never to disrespect the movement, but to add to the movement the way that I know how. Peace." Of course, there was also the other influencer, Fiona Moriarty McLaughlin, who was filmed pretending to board up a storefront for a quick video before getting back into her Mercedes and driving off. Gotta love the honesty of the internet, am I right? At number 2, we got fake wealth. As they say, perception is reality, and as you can see by this list, if you take a photo of something, a lot of people are going to take it at face value. And unless you're exposed, well then no one is really going to know that you're not who you seem to be. Remember when Bow Wow posted a photo on his Instagram about to board a private jet? And then it turned out the image he used was actually from a website belonging to MIA VIP Transportation, a company based out of Florida, which is self-described as an executive transportation company. To make matters worse, someone also saw Bow Wow on their own commercial flight, moments after he posted the photo to Instagram. To no surprise, the photo went viral and even spawned the Bow Wow challenge, where people took side-by-side photos making fun of him. My favorite was the girl standing holding a pair of jeans, making it appear she's in a relationship. Absolute classic. There was also the guy who purposely proved a point by faking that he was a wealthy influencer. He took photos using a green screen and made it appear he was on a private jet. He also photoshopped shopping bags of luxurious brands in his hands, and even fooled some family members. To no surprise, this grew his account tenfold, and then he made a YouTube video talking about how he did it all, and why he did it in the first place. It was pretty great. In at number 1, buying followers. It's an old move, but people still do it. For some reason, we think if someone has a large following, they're important. If people care about them or what they post, obviously they matter, right? This is where buying followers comes in. Although some also go for the angle of follow for follow, over the years I've realized none of it matters. At the end of the day, you just want good engagement. If you've got 100 followers and they all comment, like, and engage with your stuff, they're true fans or supporters and they really do support you. If you got 1 million followers and only 10 comment and engage with your content, then you're better off with just those 10. Now, some people do naturally just have bad engagement, or their stuff doesn't spark a response from real followers. But at the end of the day, what good is a big following if those following you don't actually care about anything you do, or in this case, post? At first, buying followers was a big thing, but now it seems enough people have caught on that it's not as popular as it used to be when social media first started to take over. And let me tell you, I've done it all, and at the end of the day, guys, realizing your worth on social media doesn't determine your value as a person is hands down the best way to go about living your life. Trust me on that one. And there you guys have it for the top 10 tricks influencers use to catfish you. Let me know which one surprised you the most, and for now, let's reply to some comments from the video. Jake Paul goes too far in shocking new video. Smallfire93 said, knowing Jake's parents, they definitely didn't teach him not to poke a grizzly bear. The grizzly bear in particular being an Irish ginger who beats the shit out of people for a living. You think his parents are like telling him to keep doing this? I mean, I know his dad's a bit of like a loose cannon, but I feel like his mom is like, Jake, like, this guy's gonna kill you. Maybe not though, I don't know. I think it's like, he's an entertainer, so it's not just him making these decisions. His manager's telling him to do it. He's got people that are like, yo, Jake, you gotta post another video now, calling out this fighter. It's not just him. It's not a one-man show, I can tell you guys that right now. Kim Dearner said, I wouldn't be surprised if one of these days Jake Paul end up in the hospital. If he fights McGregor, he will, yeah. Like, I have no doubt, 100% McGregor will give him... I think McGregor could break his jaw, break his nose for sure, maybe give him concussion. If they actually fought, 100% he'd be hospitalized. And not, like, I know people are like, oh, he's gonna kill him. I'm not saying McGregor would do it, like, he would, like, MMA fight him and kick him and stuff, but I'm saying, like, McGregor's a good enough striker that he could break break Jake's jaw with a punch, is what I'm saying. MW said, no surprise, Jake Paul is a walking disaster. Sums it up nicely. I am too, though. Anyways, guys, that's all for this one. I've been your host, Jared Bronstein, and we'll see you soon. As I previously mentioned, people went to a location in Bali. Is it Bali? It's Bali. It's Bali, right? It's not Bali.
Either way, I think you said Bali before, so I guess you gotta commit.
Bali? Bali. I'm going to Bali. I'm going to Bali. Well, I'm either right or wrong. We're about to find out. It's like saying Canada or Canada. I would know what you're talking about. I would just call you an idiot.
Toronto.
Toronto, yeah. We don't say Toronto, we say Toronto. It's just, regardless of how I say it, someone's gonna be like, you're wrong, and either I'm gonna say it's because I'm Canadian or because I'm American. Because they speak differently, so I could go either way. I can say it either way. Of course, there was also the other influencer, Fiona Moriarty McLaughlin. How do you think you say that? McLaughlin? McLaughlin, right? Okay. Fiona Moriarty McLaughlin. Ah, yes. Influencers. Aren't they something? Always influencing us regular folks to do things with their influencer ways. Yet as we know and have seen time and time again, some of these influencers really are putting on an act. They aren't who they seem to be on these social media apps, and more often than not, eventually get exposed for who they really are. Now, it seems like you guys really enjoyed the first list we did, so naturally, we had to make a part 2. If you guys have yet to see part 1, check it out. But to no surprise, that list included editing photos and buying followers, among other tricks. This video brings us 5 more tricks influencers use to catfish you, but before we start going off, smash that like button as it would really help the channel out. And you know you want to help your boy. For now, let's get into things. Starting us off at number 5, they endorse products they don't use or like. I mean, at the end of the day, a brand reaches out, offers you 10 bones to post a picture with some CBD product, odds are you're gonna do it, especially if you're in debt between school loans and credit cards. It's a no-brainer. Yet here I am still not posting the damn photo. I'm kidding, guys. On a more serious note though, we've seen so many influencers post pictures with some of the most random brands and companies. However, the one that sticks out to me the most would be when President Trump and his daughter Ivanka endorsed Goya Foods after they endorsed Trump. It was just so random and out in left field. But I'm not here to talk about politics, guys. Instead, we gotta talk about some of the other influencers who have aligned themselves with brands that, well, they just don't match up all that well. Of course, there were the handful of influencers who promoted some skinny detox tea, claiming it helped them get a slim figure when in reality, they were editing their photos to make themselves appear to be thinner. Aside from that, there have been other influencers who have promoted a product without disclosing some very important information. In some cases, these influencers were getting paid to promote the product and forgot to mention that part. As of the last few years, a law was passed requiring those getting paid to promote a product to clearly state so. However, prior, it was the wild, wild west. And other times, as I said before, the influencers just do it for a paycheck and don't really care much about the product or the post itself. A great example would be when Scott Disick teamed up with Booty and promoted their protein shake. However, when he posted the photo, the caption read, I quote, "Here you go, at 4 p.m. EST, write the below." Caption, keeping up with the summer workout routine with my morning at Booty UK protein shake. Turns out Scott literally copied and pasted the email, likely from his PR firm, and made that his Instagram caption with the product in hand. He quickly changed it after someone realized, but talk about not really paying much attention to your brand deal there, guy. On to number 4, we got engagement groups. Now, you may or may not know what an engagement group is. Technically, they're not allowed on Instagram, but it seems they do very little to stop them. An engagement group is simply a group of people, either on Instagram, WhatsApp, Telegraph, You get it. It's a group of people on a platform who share their latest Instagram posts with each other for engagement, likes, and comments. The way it works is everyone in the group follows one another, and then when someone shares their most recent post with the group, you like and comment on the post. Then when you have a new post, they're supposed to reciprocate. To no surprise, this creates a significant increase in a user's engagement, which would then not only help push your content more across other people's pages and Instagram as a whole, but makes your profile more profitable. If you have this many real, genuine active users engaging with your content, imagine if you endorsed or sold a product. At least that's how brands see it. Now, some may see this as a smart move, but the reality is, if Instagram somehow catches you doing it, rumor has it you could get shadow banned, which pretty much means they don't show your profile often in people's feeds, even if they follow you. That being said, I know tons of people who literally have groups of friends, and they all send each other their latest posts to comment and like, which technically isn't that an engagement group? Yes, but they're not necessarily doing it to go viral and get brand deals, so I'm not sure if they would be at the risk of getting shadow banned. Other people have been known to actually buy likes or comments, which is also illegal according to Instagram. But something I will say that never made any sense to me is if you buy followers or comments and likes in hopes of getting brand deals, eventually the brands you work with will realize your followers aren't buying the products. Therefore, they'll stop working with you. It just seems very short-lived. I don't know, I bought followers on other platforms before years ago, and then I ended up making a brand new account altogether because it just, I don't know, I find it just ruins the account. Like you have all these random followers, you don't have any engagement, it looks bad. This is bad news, don't do it, guys. Learn from me. My old Twitter account is just garbage. Up at number 3, we got agency and manager run accounts. Some of your favorites don't even run their own Instagram accounts anymore. Sure, it's them in the videos and photos, but they're not the ones making the captions, posting the photos, replying to the comments. No, they feel they're too important and busy for that. Instead, they hire someone to do the dirty work, if you will. Sometimes they'll have their assistant pretend to be them, while other times they'll have an entire PR agency behind the scenes working a way to maintain or potentially change an influencer's image altogether. This doesn't mean that said influencer is never in control of the account, but sometimes they likely don't care to continue being the persona they've portrayed, but don't want to walk away from the money. So they quite literally fake it. This leads to another person or a group of people pretty much pretending to be somebody else by posting content with the influencer and pretty much pretending to be them. Replying to people's comments and even DMs, commenting on other people's content, and even replying to other people's stories are all tactics that could potentially be done at the hands of one or numerous other people. And of course, they wouldn't be who is shown in the profile. It's kind of like a catfish, except the person is real and sorta involved, so it's in a category of its own. Dogfish? I don't know. On to number 2, we got fake giveaways. Believe it or not, sometimes when you see that influencers are giving away a car or a ton of cash, they really aren't. There's a few ways to fake these giveaways. For example, an influencer can give away a car to a non-existent person, aka a burner account. Obviously, you'd have to look like a real person, so there would need to be photos and such, but you get the point. It's also possible they give the product to a friend or a family member that their followers wouldn't realize, so they would have no way of getting caught. That way they actually give the prize away, only to get it right back. Now I will say for the most part, these influencer giveaways are legit. Whether it be for sponsorships, tax write-offs, or simply just to show their appreciation, influencers usually do follow through on their word. However, sometimes they don't, and this is just one of many ways they could fool their followers. And now in at number 1, we got poses. I know, random, right? But hear me out. A lot of these influencers pose a certain way to make themselves appear to be more muscular, more slim, have a bigger tush. You get the idea. Now you could say that models do the same thing, but we know that models are posing. That's their job. An influencer does technically need to post content, but not every influencer is a model, nor do they portray themselves to be. Yet at the same time, a lot of them will pose in certain ways to make themselves appear to be someone they're not. How model-esque. I won't lie though, I used to pose all the time in my Instagram photos, and now I just don't care because I've realized, guys, it really doesn't matter at all. Like, look, it's one thing to pose for a picture. Like, you smile, you pose, whatever. That's normal. But I'm talking like the real, like, they go for like the angles of like, one leg like this, body's turned here, head's turned this way, and it's like, just take a candid picture. Now that being said, guys, for other influencers, it is very important to maintain a certain image. Some have actually pointed out that if you pose one way or another, you can look very bloated or very slim. In fact, influencer and journalist Danae Mercer went viral for exposing these tricks. Sharing images of herself side by side, she would show how influencers pose in very specific ways while taking very casual looking photos. But that's just it, these influencers aren't being casual at all. They're pretending to look a certain way naturally when most people feel in reality. It just sets a very unrealistic and unhealthy beauty standard. Speaking with Insider, Mercer said, I quote, "The danger with social media is we feel like it's more real life than what we see now in magazines and on TV. But it isn't. not really. It's incredibly filtered. And she doesn't mean filtered in the sense that they change the color of the sky or add a few clouds. If you know, you know. She means the lighting, camera angles, and of course, their casual poses. She went on to say, I quote, "People don't realize that what looks like a casual photo or just chilled gym session is usually very posed, very styled, and very deliberate. And that's okay. The posing is okay, the styling is okay, all that's okay. But I think we need to be educated." She went on to say that similar to how we know photos in magazines are photoshopped, there should be more of a conversation regarding what goes into these influencer photo shoots that appear to be so casual and possibly even candid. And she's 100% on the money with that one. All the photos you see from your favorite influencers are usually the work of a team. The influencer, a makeup artist, a hairstylist, photographer, lighting, who knows who else is part of that team. And yet they make it seem like just another day. Ha! What a joke. You guys wanna see what an influencer looks like on any other day? Look at me right now. This is it. Look, bags under the eyes, unshaven, probably got some nose hair sticking out. Who knows, guys? This is real life, baby. Welcome to it. Anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts on this one down below. If you haven't seen part 1, be sure to check that out now. Either way, I'm going to be replying to some comments from the part 1 of this series, so let's see what we got. Jamie Byford said, "I've never seen someone change their appearance so drastically with a shave. If you guys want to see me clean shaven, be sure to check out that first video. My beard has obviously come back, so it's been like 2 or 3 weeks or so. But yeah, I do look quite different when I shave, I will say. Not so different, but definitely different." Charlotte Lucas said, "Brad Paisley's song, 'Celebrity,' says it's best. When you're a celebrity, it's adios reality." Just wanted to include this comment because I haven't heard that song in so long. A lot of you guys probably don't know this, but I used to be a huge country fan. It's kind of gone downhill big time as of late. But like Brad Paisley is like a goat in the country world to me. And Jason Alexander is in that music video. It's actually very funny. So, and it's true, 100%. Jesse Lynn said, "Can we talk about Jared's hee-hee though?" Oh, that was the video that I literally just said something like, "Smash that like button, let's get into it." And then I started going. I don't know, guys. I'm sure you can tell in this video. I've been doing a lot of things off the cuff. I just like to have fun. I don't take things too seriously anymore. I mean, guys, this is a list of top 5 tricks that influencers use to catfish you. There's a lot of awful things happening in the world right now. This is not one of them. So this is something that I'm gonna try to have fun and I'm gonna try to entertain because that's what I am. I'm an entertainer. You guys are watching a video about influencers in a time when America is on the verge of a civil war potentially. So I try to have fun and I try to make you guys laugh, and that's all I'm trying to do with that little hee. So glad you guys enjoyed it though. Kiara Roberts said, "We need to know what kind of hair products Jared uses on his flawless hair." I don't even want to take off my hat right now because it's so disgusting. I don't really use much. I just use, and I've spoken about it before, like essentials, coconut oil, shampoo or something. My hair now is just, it's a no-go. It's a no thank you. Probably looks similar to this. Good hair day, right folks? Now you guys probably don't want to know what I put in my hair because it looks like this, which is why I'm always wearing hats. The other day, guys, I would recommend just getting a haircut. Shorter hair, much easier to maintain. Anyways, been your host, Jared Bronstein. I love you guys lots, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Mwah.
Nowadays, dating has turned into an online endeavor, especially with the impact the pandemic has had on most of our personal relationships. Meeting new people online can be a cool thing because it opens you up to so many more people than you would normally meet just in person, but it also opens you up to catfishes. As we continue to meet and talk to people on the internet, knowing the signs of a catfish can be vital, so let's talk about the top 10 ways to tell if you're being catfished. At number 10, suspicious photos. Let's say that you've been talking to someone online and you're catching feelings for this person. You believe that all is well, except there's something a little sus about their photos. If you think that the pictures they have on social media or that they send you are a little weird, you might be getting catfished. For example, if they have a lot of group photos or low quality pictures of their face, chances are they might not be who they say they are. Sometimes people zoom in on a group photo and share that, pretending to be someone from their friend group or another group of people. If you find that they can never seem to share an in-moment selfie, this could also be a red flag alerting you to the possibility that they're lying about their appearance. If you find that they never post pictures with other people like family or friends, this could also be a little sus because this person could be stealing photos from someone else, and they could also be using old pictures. And lastly, if you're able to reverse Google search their picture and it comes up as being from someone else, you know you've been bamboozled and you better get out of that relationship quickly. At number 9, lying about their career. When you're using apps like Tinder or Bumble, a lot of times people will often include their alma mater in their bio. Most of the time you'll see normal schools like state schools or local colleges or universities, but there are also the select few profiles you may come across that say this person went to Yale or Harvard or another one of those huge Ivy League schools. While yes, this can check out some of the time, other times this person is catfishing you. One way to catch them would be to ask about their job. I promise you, if this person says they went to Harvard Law, they have a job. No one would be turning down a Harvard Law student. If you're talking to someone claiming that they're unemployed despite having gone to an Ivy League school, there's a good chance that they're just lying to impress you. There's nothing wrong with going to a regular college or university, and I'm sure that anyone would be impressed by the fact that you got a post-secondary education in general, because a lot of people can't actually afford that, and it's honestly a privilege to be able to get an education, so there's no need to lie about it and catfish someone. That's just disrespectful, so look out for that red flag. If you're enjoying the video so far, please do consider leaving a like on this video because it really helps us out, and we love getting your positive feedback. At number 8, too perfect. We may all be familiar with the phrase too good to be true, but this saying is something to definitely keep in mind when meeting people online. As much as we'd all like to match with someone who looks like they were chiseled by the gods, in reality, things don't always work out like that. If there's one thing I'm sure many of us have learned through watching the MTV show Catfished, it's that the most common trope in catfishing is pretending to be some super hot model type person. Now, don't get me wrong, we all have a shot at getting that happily ever after with someone who looks like they belong on the cover of Vogue, but when it comes to online dating, you never truly know who you're talking to unless you meet them in person. But it's not just looks that can con you into thinking that this person is too perfect. Even if this individual looks like a normal person but claims that they're a heart surgeon at a children's hospital who volunteers at the shelter and writes poetry on the side, you might be getting catfished. Catfishes can also try and woo you with their charm and alleged riches, so unless you know someone who can back up their lavish claims, they might be too good to be true. At number 7, no phone calls. Communication is a big thing in a relationship, whether it's romantic or just as friends. Talking to each other is really important. Though texting is all fine and dandy, sometimes you just want to hear this person's voice, and so what happens if they refuse to call you? Well, unfortunately, that's another red flag. Dodging a few calls here and there could be nothing to worry about, like if you caught them at work or on the can or something, but if it's a constant dismissal of any sort of vocal communication, that could be a problem. There could be a number of reasons why this person wouldn't want to talk to you on the phone. They could reveal too much about themselves over the phone, mainly the sound of their real voice. If they've sent you videos of themselves in the past and their voice on the phone doesn't line up with that from their videos, they could be a catfish. They could also reveal themselves to be someone that you know, pretending to be someone else as you'd recognize their voice. Though some catfish are able to use voice modifiers to keep up the lie, others aren't so advanced and may request to not speak over the phone so that they don't get caught. At number 6, no FaceTime. Much like the no phone calls thing, another warning sign that you may have fallen victim to a catfish is the fact that the person you're talking to refuses to have any FaceTime calls. Like I said earlier, communication is a huge thing, and so being able to talk face to face, even if it's not in person, is a good way to establish a better relationship. A lot of the time, catfishers will refuse to do video calls and give a lot of excuses like, oh, my FaceTime doesn't work, or oh, my phone is about to die, or my camera is broken. If this person really likes you the way you think they do, they would find a way to talk to you face to face. It's only natural. So when someone keeps giving you excuses as to why you can't talk to them one-on-one like that, I think it's safe to say that you're being catfished. At number 5, no Snapchat. Continuing with the theme, if your partner doesn't have Snapchat, it could also be a potential red flag. Now, some people say that if the person you're talking to doesn't have a Snapchat account, it could be a huge red flag, but I'm not so sure. I mean, there are a lot of people who don't have Snapchat for personal reasons. I think that it's a bigger red flag if this person does have a Snapchat but doesn't have a very big Snap score. Basically, if you look at their profile on Snapchat, you can see their Snap score, which is the number of snaps that they've sent or received. For people who are very active on the platform or have had their account for a long time, they'd have a pretty high Snap score, but if it's suspiciously low, you might have a problem. Chances are they could have made this profile to catfish you or other people that they've met online, so question them on it, and if their answers seem a little suspicious, move on, honey. At number 4, no meetups. Now, if you've been chatting with someone you met online for some time, you may want to take things to the next step and try meeting up with them in person. Normally, if it's a proper relationship, the two people would make plans to have a first date or something, but if the person you're talking to always seems to dodge the meetup, you may be dealing with a catfish. For catfishes who pretend to be rich business people or something along those lines, they could possibly make the excuse like, oh, I'm always traveling, but in that case, you'd question how strange it is for them to be traveling everywhere except for where you live. It's a little weird, right? Another red flag could be their excuses. Say for example, you two decide to meet up for dinner, and just before the date you get a message from them detailing some dramatic event that's preventing them from meeting up. That could be a huge cause for concern, especially if it happens on multiple occasions. Keep track of their responses, and if it seems too over the top or dramatic, or even if they use the same excuse multiple times, it might be time to end things. At number 3, asking for money. One of the biggest warning signs that you could be getting catfished would be that this person keeps asking you for money. There have been so many stories of catfishes asking their partners for financial support, and it's so sad to see these people getting taken advantage of. So if this happens to you, get out of there. There is no reason for someone that you just met to be asking you for money. Even if they make excuses like they're going to use the money to buy a webcam or something so they can video call you, or that they needed to buy a new phone to talk to you, never, ever, ever give a stranger money, no matter how badly they say they need it. There have been too many scams prying on vulnerable people, so please keep this in mind when meeting new people online. If you're in a real relationship with a real person, they would never ask you for money. Never give out personal information to people you don't know, and always be vigilant. At number 2, they're famous. If you match with someone online and their profile says that they're famous, don't buy it. Unless they're calling themselves famous because they have like 1,000 YouTube subscribers, it's probably too good to be true. Chances are you didn't match with Tom Holland on Bumble, as much as you would like that to be real. I think by now most people would know to be a little apprehensive if you match with a celebrity online, or if a celebrity slides into your DMs out of the blue. A lot of catfishers impersonate celebrities and influencers to trick people, especially their fans, into believing that it's really them. There have been countless times that people have been tricked into believing that they're dating Megan Fox or Chris Hemsworth, and people have gotten their hearts broken or worse. Catfishes impersonate famous people because it's easy to get a hold of their pictures and personal information, and because, like I said, fans are easy targets. So as much as you would love to date a Hollywood A-lister, chances are you won't find them on Tinder. At number 1, gut feeling. I've told you about other signs and red flags to look out for to tell if you're being catfished, but I think the biggest tell is yourself. If you have a feeling in your gut telling you that this is wrong, you're probably right. I'm sure at any point in a conversation with someone you're interested in, there would come a time where you think, I don't think this is working, and if you feel that way, end things. When it comes to meeting strangers online, you have to keep your guard up, because there are unfortunately a lot of people out there looking to exploit you or hurt you for their own gain, and that's just not okay. So next time you're talking to someone new online and you have that gut feeling, leave them on red and move on, because you're worth so much and don't deserve to be bamboozled by anyone. Now, I want you guys to tell me if you've ever been catfished, and if not, then what was your worst dating experience? I want you guys to give me all the tea, but in the meantime, let's get to reading out some of your comments from our video. We need to talk about Trisha Paytas. Savage Bat Kitty says, I thought we left her in 2020. I would love to think that we did, but unfortunately, Trisha is like a parasite and she will hold on for dear life. Scandal after scandal, she's kind of good at that. We can't just leave her, unfortunately. Artist Owl says what she did to Dissociated went too far. Trisha should be off YouTube. She almost killed someone for making fun of the person's mental health. It was so hard to watch Dissociated go through that. I have been one of Dissociated's viewers for some time now, and I love what their platform does. I love their system. Everything about their channel is amazing. So to see them getting bullied by not only Trisha, but a lot of other people on the platform, like Trisha's fans and whatnot, it was so heartbreaking, but now, you know, hopefully they're doing a little bit better. Sneaky Sly Slytherin says, oh, she did not get into Beetlejuice and Hamilton. She's going to totally ruin them. My hatred for her is skyrocketing. I'm just saying skyrocketing because it was emojis. But yeah, she's made cover videos of her singing songs from Hamilton and Beetlejuice, and I love those two musicals so much, so it kind of hurt me a little bit, not to be like mean, but like, you know, she kind of overdoes things. When she's really obsessed with something, she kind of just like does it until it's just dead. So hopefully that doesn't happen to these musicals, because they're just too good to die like that. KEWF says, Brie, I just want to say your makeup is on point every single time. Well, thank you. I normally do it in the dark, so I just hope for the best, but thank you for commenting on my face. Jolyn Studer says, what is she famous for? That is a very good question. What is she famous for? Because after all the research I did into her, I still can't determine why she's famous. I think she just made so many weird videos that people were like, who's this girl? and then they just subscribe to see more weird stuff. Like, that's the only explanation I have for that. I really don't know why she's famous. My Fantastic Nail says, I seriously needed Bree's reminder of me getting water. I'm so bad at drinking anything in general, even when I've literally got a bottle of water right in front of me, I still forget. Thanks, Bree. You're welcome. I'm here to keep everyone hydrated and healthy. You know, keep your bodies in check, you know, don't be dehydrated. That's not good. I don't know what the health things are about dehydration. I just know it's bad, so don't be dehydrated. Drink some water. Thanks so much for your comments and for sticking around until the end of the video. I've been your host, Bree Room, and until next time, stay safe, drink some water. Fantastic Nails, I'm talking to you. And as always, keep being your amazing and beautiful selves. Bye, guys.